Hi everyone, I'm back at the Christoph's garage in Edinburgh, and I'm slowly getting to the bottom of the fuel trim problems we've been having. So initially the car had gone over a bump, and we noticed the fuel trims were all over the place, with adding about 20% extra fuel onto long-term trims, and also the short-term trims weren't ideal either. They would settle out after a while of driving, but initially at startup you can actually smell the fuel burning away. As I said, 20% drop in fuel. One of the things that we noticed when the car is running is that the temperature, which you can just see there, temperature gauge runs really quite low. So that's about 70 degrees Celsius, which isn't going to be enough for the engine. It's not an optimal temperature for the engine to run at, and therefore the car throws more fuel because the engine's not running at the optimum temperature. So things that can cause that to happen would be a stuck open thermostat, but in this particular case we noticed the fans were running constantly. So we're still not going to the bottom of it, but the fans at the front are running constantly. So part of the part of the diagnostic was to disconnect the fans and drive on the motorway and just see the temperature, whether they would actually drop on the gauge, whether it would rise. So we did that with Christoph monitoring the temperatures, and what we found was that the temperature was still quite low, which indicates that the thermostat is not working properly. This would tie in with possibly two faults. One of them was that I noticed in the winter period that the car wasn't heating quite to the temperatures it used to. And I'm thinking, that's very odd. So I'm wondering if the thermostat has failed then, and I hadn't actually picked up on it. But also, I'm wondering if the second fault, the fans sensor is stuck on always on position later on. So maybe two distinct faults. So the first thing we do is probably replace the thermostat and review the situation and take it from there. That's a good position to be in. Whilst we're at it as well, we're going to change the fuel filter as well, because again, when that car went over that bumper, when it went quite low on fuel, we noticed the problems really starting to on the fuel trim starting around the same period. It might be coincidence, but the car's done 180,000 miles on the same filter, so filter and pump to be replaced at the same time, and hopefully we'll be able to see it. We're going to use the genuine thermostat for the Toyota thermostat. The reason for that is because Christoph mentioned that the aftermarket thermostats, hopefully will shut down at the correct temperature and open up at the correct temperature, but you can't guarantee it that will actually be the case. So it's best to go with a Toyota genuine part, and that keeps in with his philosophy of using Toyota parts, because then you have a Toyota, you don't have a Toyota-esque vehicle as well. So let's take it from there. The car's already gone through a smoke test as well to see if there was any leaking trim. There was a little bit of fuel coming out of the airbox, but that's mass airflow sensor, that's normal. And there'll be a little bit of smoke coming near the evap hoses, but again, very small and not likely to be causing the problem. But that little valve there needs replaced as well. So I think that's where we are just now. And as I said, the fans are now running away, the car's idling, and it's just constantly, the fans are constantly on. And you can see the temperature. Oops, let me just do that again. Temperature has not increased. One of the other things to note is that one of the other tests they did was disconnected the fans, and they ran the engine stationary, and the temperature increased, and the short-term fuel trims returned back to a reasonable, close to 0, -1 kind of area. So that's a good sign as well. we're heading in the right direction.